Blaise Ingoglia, thank you for talking to us today. We appreciate it.
Sure.
I want to start with some of the things I think people in Florida really care the most about. Home insurance.
Sure.
The state has dumped a lot of money in to try to fix this issue. Laws have been changed and things have stabilized, but I think people are waiting for them to go down. Is that a reasonable expectation, and when do you think that would happen?
So I think we're already starting to see the cost curve start bending down. We're seeing the fruits of the laws that were passed. Just to put that in context, almost every other state is having double-digit rate increases, and the state of Florida is less than 1%. So we are seeing stability in the market, which was the first thing that we were looking to attain, which means that we have new insurance companies stay in the state. We have companies staying in the state of Florida writing policies. We have new companies coming in. But the most important part of that is that a lot of these companies were going bankrupt, and it was creating an insurance crisis. So we stabilized the market. New insurance companies are coming in, but look, I'm not going to lie, there's still more work that needs to be done. We need to hold insurers accountable, those who aren't doing what they're supposed to do, while at the same time creating the market where they come into the market and compete for your business.
Not an easy job. How do you plan to hold those insurers accountable?
Yeah, I think one thing that we have to do is that if we see bad behavior, we need to call it out. Not only do that, but also investigate it. One of the tools that we need that we do not have, that the legislature needs to pass, in my opinion, is the ability to look at some of these insurance companies, the way that they are structured, to see if they are gaming the system. Look, I'm going to call balls and strikes. I don't care if it's trial attorneys gaming the system or if it's insurers gaming the system. I'm going to look at it objectively. I'm going to look at it from a pro-consumer bent, and I'm going to say, hey, this is not right. We need to fix it and call it out.
All right, let's talk about property taxes. You have been very outspoken about getting rid of property taxes. Tell me how doing that will not cripple police and schools.
So the first thing you have to know is that we're not getting rid of property. I would love to get rid of property taxes altogether, but the proposal is to get rid of property taxes on homesteaded properties, which is a much easier thing to do than get rid of all property taxes. But I will tell you that for first responders, what local governments need to do is go back to zero-based budgeting, and the very first thing that they need to do is add in police and fire. Those are the very first things that they should be adding in, because government's first job is to protect its people. So we should be prioritizing the spending. Fire first, police first. Everything else needs to be looked at on an as is, if it is needed or if it is a want. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the way local governments are spending, have been spending, is similar to what we saw in the mid-2000s. They took all the extra property tax revenue and they expanded government. And then we found out that they were spending money frivolously on things that really did not add value to the taxpayer. We're seeing the same thing now.
Okay, and one of your big plans are these DOGE cuts, bringing those to the state. Some critics say it might be duplicative with what counties and cities are already doing with their audits. Will it be?
No, it's not. I will tell you that local governments' general fund budgets, the portions that is funded by your property taxes, have grown anywhere between 60 to 120% over the last 5 years post-COVID. They took all the extra COVID money that was given by the federal government flowing through the state to their local municipalities and counties, and they've added these programs that were never meant to be there long-term. So they basically created this new base of spending, and what we're saying is that base of spending should not be that high. We need to go back and readjust for inflation and population. And once you do that, you will notice that they are overspending.
As going along with the DOGE cuts, one thing that a lot of people have talked about, Republicans and Democrats alike, visit Florida. As we look at places to cut, I know former House Speaker Richard Corcoran, he spoke out about this as a place to look at this investigation. Is Visit Florida a place you would look to maybe cut some funds?
So what we're planning on doing in my office with our audit authority and DOGE Florida, we are looking at every city and municipality. We have about 12 to 15 cities and counties that we're looking at first, but I will tell you, we're going to look at every possible way of saving taxpayer money from waste, fraud, and abuse. You know, we have limited resources, so we have to prioritize. So the ones that you're seeing first are some of the ones that we think are the most egregious overspenders, and we may eventually look at some of that stuff.
And is Orange County maybe one of those places you're looking?
Not at liberty to discuss who we are going to be rolling out next, but rest assured that when and if we roll out a county or municipality, there's a reason for it.
Okay. All right, let's talk about Alligator Alcatraz.
Sure.
450 million state dollars are projected to go there now, but tell me, what assurances do we have from the federal government that that money will get paid back?
So the first thing is that the state of Florida, and specifically our Governor Ron DeSantis, has a very good relationship with the federal government and President Trump. There is already a pot of money at the federal government to help pay for some of this stuff. And we see that, you may not know that, but you have detention centers, local prisons that are holding ICE detainees now, and they get a per diem basis from that now. So there's already this mechanism to get reimbursed from the federal government when we hold ICE detainees. So this is just it on a larger scale. But here's the thing that everyone should be aware of. We wouldn't be in this position at all if it wasn't for the Biden administration's de facto open borders that created this problem in the first place. You know, it really agitates me when I hear people on the left and saying, yeah, but you're spending $450 million on a detention facility. My question is, we wouldn't have needed a detention facility to spend any money if we didn't have everyone pouring over an open southern porous border. I mean, that's just the reality of it. So when people start asking questions about spending, we shouldn't have to spend it in the first place. But another thing that really agitates me is that the same people who are complaining about the money that we are spending on Alligator Alcatraz, which is effectuating the removal of illegal immigrants, especially those with the criminal element, sending them back to their home country or other countries, not one of them have ever opened up their mouth when they heard that, you know, we were spending $2 billion putting them in hotel rooms in New York City. There is a cost to illegal immigration. That cost is borne by the taxpayers. We do not want to spend any more money than we have to, but unfortunately we have to because there's a problem.
One thing Democrats have criticized with Alligator Alcatraz is the vendors that are being chosen. They say there's a lot of money flowing. They claim there's not a lot of transparency, and they say that friends of the governor's administration are getting handed these contracts. As the CFO, will you make sure that doesn't happen?
Well, there's a bidding process now. And the contracts were put online, and Director Guthrie from DEM already explained this. Contracts were put online, but it was a full contract that had a lot of personal information on those contracts. Those are trade secrets that should have never been put online at first. So because they go through a competitive bidding process, they were actually showing granular detail on how they got the winning bid. Well, you just basically put that online and show everyone else, your competitors, how you got the winning bid, which gives your competitors a strategic advantage for future bids. Those contracts were pulled down, and now there are summaries put up that people can read in the amount of the people who got the contract and how much we're paying.
What can people expect from you as CFO that they haven't seen from past CFOs?
Yeah, good question. I am looking to elevate this position of CFO as somebody that can be trusted when it comes to spending, and know that you have a pro-consumer and pro-taxpayer advocate in this office. I'm not going to sit idly by and let things go by without trying to hold people accountable and speaking my mind. I want people to know that I'm going to bust my butt in this position, and I'm going to work every day, night and day, to make sure that I'm protecting the taxpayers.
Blaise Ingoglia, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you.